We've used the word gradient for episodes now, the thing we descend to train a network, but we never properly defined it. Today we make it precise and then generalize it all the way up to the object that powers backpropagation, the Jacobian. This is calculus scaled to many dimensions. Start in one dimension. The derivative of a function is its slope, how fast the output changes as you nudge the input, steep curve, big derivative, flat curve, near zero. It's a single number that answers one question. If I move the input a tiny bit, how much does the output move? That's the seed of everything here. But our functions don't have one input, they have millions. So we ask the question one variable at a time. A partial derivative is the slope with respect to just one input, holding all the others frozen. How does the loss change if I wiggle only this one weight? Freeze everything else, measure the slope, do that for each input, and you get a whole collection of slopes. Bundle all those partial derivatives into a single vector, and that's the gradient. One slope per input packed together, and it has a beautiful geometric meaning. The gradient points in the direction of steepest ascent, the single fastest way uphill on the lost surface. Its length tells you how steep that climb is. Picture the loss as a landscape drawn as a contour map. At any point, the gradient arrow points straight uphill and always perpendicular to the contour lines you are standing on. Where contours are tightly packed, the slope is steep and the gradient is long. Where they are spread out, it's gentle. The gradient is the compass of the whole surface. And now the move from gradient descent makes complete sense. The gradient points uphill toward higher loss. We want lower loss. So we step in the opposite direction, minus the gradient, straight downhill. That's the minus sign in the update rule we saw in episode 4. The gradient just told us which way not to go. Now generalize once more. A neural network layer doesn't output one number, it outputs a whole vector. So we need the slope of every output with respect to every input. Arrange them in a grid, one row per output, one column per input. That grid of partial derivatives is the Jacobian. It's the gradient's big sibling, the complete map of how a vector-valued function responds to its inputs. Read it like this. The entry in row I, column j answers. How much does output I change when input j wiggles? A function from 1,000 inputs to 1,000 outputs has a million entry Jacobian. It captures the entire local behavior of that function in one matrix. And a single neural network layer is exactly such a function. Here's where it all connects back to backpropagation. A network is layers chained together, and the chain rule says the Jacobian of the whole network is just the product of each layer's Jacobian. Multiply them layer by layer from the output back to the input. That chain of Jacobian multiplications computed efficiently is backprop. The elegant idea from episode 5 was Jacobians all along. There is one more level, the Hessian, the matrix of second derivatives. If the gradient tells you the slope, the Hessian tells you the curvature, how the slope itself is changing. It's what distinguishes a bowl from a saddle. Second order optimizers use it to take smarter steps, but it's expensive. For huge models, we mostly stick to the gradient. So here are the two pillars. The gradient is what we descend. It points the way downhill, one slope per parameter. The Jacobian is how we compose. It lets the chain rule flow gradients backward through every layer. Gradient to move, Jacobian to connect. Together they're the calculus engine running underneath every training step. Climb the ladder one last time. A derivative is a slope. A gradient is a vector of slopes, one per input. A Jacobian is a grid of slopes, outputs by inputs, and a Hessian is the curvature on top. Each is the same idea, stretched into one more dimension. That's all the calculus a neural network ever needs. So the gradient is the compass, and the Jacobian is the wiring that carries it back through the network. With these, every claim we made about training is now on solid ground. Next time, we turn to one of the most beautiful ideas in all of linear algebra: eigenvalues, eigenvectors, and how they let us find the directions that matter most in PCA. See you there.